Do you want to master backend development with Node.js by building a couple of projects? Then you are in the right place. In this video, we are going to build email-based OTP login system. And that is a secure login system that uses email-based OTP, and that is one-time password for authentication instead of traditional password. And these are the features. 1. We are going to implement email-based OTP authentication, session management, modern UI with Bootstrap, secure OTP generation and validation, and 5-minute OTP expiry. Before we get into code, let's look at the live demo. And in case we're new to Node.js, I have a crash course on our YouTube channel, or if you want to master full stack development by using MainStack, I have a complete course on Udemy. Before we get into code, let's look at the live demo. When I click on the how it works, here a user will enter his or her email address and then receive the OTP and then enter the OTP and finally access granted. So first of all, we are going to log in, assuming that a user is being logged in. And make sure to use a valid email address to be able to receive the OTP. When I click on send OTP, now it says that OTP sent to this particular Gmail account. So if I visit my Gmail account, and here we go, I got the OTP, which is this one. When I click on that, it says that your OTP is this code, and this one will expire in 5 minutes. So I'm going to copy the code and back to the application. I'm going to enter the code and then verify and continue. And I have successfully logged in using my OTP. Even if I reload, I'm still logged in and I can log out. So this is what we are going to build. For this project, we are going to focus mainly on the main logics. Because of that, the HTML, the CSS will be provided, including the starter template. After downloading the starter template, we're gonna have email-based OTP login system, and we have the final and then the starter template. I'm going to open the starter template with my preferred code editor, and that is Visual Studio Code. And this is the folder structure. We have the views, and the views contains the EJS template or the HTML for this project, and .env file will contain all the environment variables, and the app will have the main logics. What I have provided is the views. For example, the dashboard, how it works, the index, the layout, the login, then send OTP and verify OTP template. And I'll walk you through step by step how we're going to use these templates. In case you are new to EJS template engine, I have a crash course on that. And let's check packages that we are using. For example, Express, UJS, Express session for managing the authentication, Node Mailer for email sending, .env is going to help us to be access our environment variables, and then Express UJS layout. We have used these packages before when building email reminder project. The next step is that we need to install all of these packages. So open your terminal and then make use of npm I or npm install to install all the packages. And that is it. Now that we have the folder structure, it is time for us to get into code by building this project. Now that we have our folder structure, let's get into code. And before getting started, make sure to have your own email user and then your email password. And for this one, we have done it when building email reminder project, and a video will be provided to show you how to get these credentials in case you are new to this. At this point, I assume that you have your own email user and then the password from your Gmail account. So back to the app.js, this we're going to implement all the logics. So here, first of all, I'm going to require the .env package. On that, we have a function or method called config. After that, we are going to require express equal to require express. And then we will need express session for session management, and then the path module and Node Mailer and then express UJS layout, and let's have express instance. The format is the same as compared to the previous project. So in here, I'm gonna have const app is equal to express as a function call, and let's have our middleware, and it's equal to app.use. The first middleware is going to be express.json. This one is for passing JSON data, and this one is for API development. And we also have app.use express.url encoded, and then inside object extended equal to true. And this one will help us to pass data from a form. And the next one is going to be the session management app.use, and then bring in session as a function call, and then the object. Provide secret. I'm gonna provide some secret key like this, or I can save it on the environment variable as session secret. And let's use any random string of characters here as our key. So back to the app.js, I'm going to access the environment variable for the session secret, and then resave equal to false, and then save or initialized. These are just configuration from the session package. And then I'm gonna set to true, and lastly cookie as an object secure equal to false. In production, set to true. In production with HTTPS. Nice. The next step is going to be the view engine setup, and it goes like this: app.use, and then express layout. For this one we have done it many times, and then app.set view engine, and then comma, we are using UJS, and here as layout. Nice. The next step is that we are going to render the individual templates by creating a route for it. The first route is going to be the home page. So here as home page route, and it goes like this. On the app, we have the HTTP method as get, and then the callback function as that, and res.render. We are going to render the index, and that is the home page. Inside the views, this is a home page with a name called index.ujs. So here as index, and we can pass additional data to the template. So in here, I'm going to say that title is equal to, then bring home dash OTP of system. Good. After this, let's start our server as start the server, and then on the app, I'm gonna use listen, and then we will need the port. So const port is equal to process.env.port. If you don't have it, then use 4000. I'm gonna set the port here as 4000. Good. And then pass in the port, and then callback function. And I'm gonna say that server is running on the port, and then inject the port. All right, so let's run the application. We are going to use node-watch, and then the name of the file called app. With this one, you don't have to manually restart the server anytime you make changes to our application. If I hit send and then back to my browser, I'm going to open a new tab. For this one, I'm going to change to 4000, and here we go. This is the homepage template. What about the how it works? We are going to have a route that's going to render the how it works, which is this one. The format is going to be the same. Copy this, paste, and how it worked or how it works. Good. So the path here is / how it works, which is this one. And the title here is going to be how it works. And then OTP is supposed to be OTP here. Good. And this is the template for how it works, which is this one. So back to the project, if I reload, well, for some reasons it is not working. Let me confirm. Oh, sorry. I have to provide the path as how it works. Good. So if I reload, now we have it. We also want to render the login. So back to the app.js or even the template, there's a login form. I'm going to render that template. Copy and paste, and then route, and the path is login. The template is also called login, and then login. Now let's try out. Reload, and we have the form. Alright, so at this point we have all the templates. What has left is to implement the logic for sending the OTP. Now that we have all the templates, let's implement the actual logic for sending the OTP. Before that, let me show you where we have the navbar. Back to the folder structure, in the views we have the layout. The layout is visible to all the pages. Let's have a look at the structure here. We have the nav links, which is this one that has the OTP as the name of the app, and then the home that point to /. Likewise, the how it works, it point to how it works, and then the login. This means that these paths, and that is the hrefs, it must match the route that we have specified on the app.js file. It is time for us to implement the main logic. So back to the send OTP or the login, which is this one, we have a form. Let me show you here. It begins from here, and we have the action that is equal to send OTP. The method here is equal to post. This means we have to implement this route in our server. Back to the app, I'm going to have a comment, or even let me copy one of these and then change this one to send OTP logic route, and it's going to be post method. The path is equal to send OTP, which is this one, and bring async await, and remove these guys, then try and catch block. How are we going to send the OTP? The main goal here is that we are going to accept, or the user is going to provide his or her email address, and then we are going to generate 6-digit OTP. Then after that, we are going to save the OTP into session, similar to the email, and then the date or the time the OTP will be expire, we are going to save them in the session. And finally, we're going to send email with a token to the email from the user. And that is it. So let's take the email from the user by destruction from the rec.body, which is equal to rec.body. Good. The next step is that we are going to generate the OTP, and that is the OTP code. And for this, we can use crypto package, but let's use simple JavaScript method here as const OTP is equal to, we're going to use math.floor and then pass in 10,000. We're going to add math.random, then multiply by 90,000, and this one will give us 6-digit OTP. The next step is that we are going to store OTP in session, and it goes like this. On the request, we have what is called session, and since this is an object, we can save our custom property to the session. The first one is going to be the OTP, which is equal to the OTP that has been generated. And we also want to save the email into session, and that is the user that we are generating the OTP. After that, we have to store the date the token or the OTP will be expired. So in here, I'm going to change this one to OTP Expiry. And we want to expire this in 5 minutes. So here is going to be date dot now, and then we're going to include or add 5 multiply by 60 multiply by 1000. So this one will give us 5 minutes, and we need to send the email or send mail. I think we don't have the logic for the node mailer, so we have to implement the node mailer logic. So let me do it here as node mailer configuration, and it goes like this. I'm going to assign to a variable called transporter, which is equal to node mailer package dot create transport as a function, and then object. We're going to pass in the service. For node mailer, we can use other service providers like SendGrid, but for this, we're going to use Gmail account, which is easy to do. And then we need to provide our authentication credentials. One is the user. The user here is your Gmail account that you want to use for sending the emails. For this one, we have saved it on the process.env.email_user, and then the password. So here as pass, and it can be found on the email pass. And this password is not the password that you use to log in into your Gmail account. This is a password called app password from your Gmail account. And like I said, we have done this one before under the email reminder project. And in case you are new, I'll provide a video to show you how to get your email password and then your email user. And that is it about the configuration. It is time for us to use it. So back to the send OTP logic. This is where we are going to send the mail. So here I'm going to cut it from here and then bring try and catch. And then in the try, we're going to await the transporter from node mailer. We have a method called send mail, and then object from, we're going to take the from email from the environment variable as email user, and then to who, to the user who wants to log in, and the email can be found on the reg.body as we have already destructured. Then the subject. The subject here is your OTP for login, and then the actual text. And I'm going to say that your OTP is, and then let me inject the OTP. And lastly, we need to render res.render, and that is the verify OTP template, which is this one. So here as quote verify-OTP, and then object title here is equal to verify OTP, and that is OTP of system. And you want to send the email to the template as email, and then for error we're going to say null. So on the verify template, we will have access to the title, the email, and then error, which is equal to null. And in case something goes wrong, I'm going to copy this and then paste it here. We are going to render the error template. Let me see, we don't have, sorry, not error template, but instead the login template, which is this one. So here as login, and then the title here is going to be login, and then the error is equal to fail to send OTP, please try again. And that is it. Oh, sorry, I already have try and catch already, which is this. So let me remove this try catch block. So let me see where it ends. This one, remove that. and remove this one, sorry, on my side, and then this one. Okay, good. So let's bring this one, that is the error, in the cache here. Good. So we are good to go. Let's get back to the page here. I'm going to provide my Gmail account and then send. And OTP sent. If I check my account and we have your OTP for login, which is this one. Like I said that we have already implemented the logic. So if I check the send OTP here for the form, as I demonstrated, this is the actual endpoint and the method here is post. And for this one, we will need the OTP, that's the name equal to OTP, not this one, but let me see. Yeah, not this one. Sorry, it's supposed to be the login, which is this one. For the login in, the method is post and the path is send OTP. We will need the email with the name equal to email and then send OTP. So now after sending, it has been redirected me to the verify your identity. And this is where we are going to have a route to verify the OTP. At the moment, we have one for sending, which is this one. We will need one to be able to verify the OTP. We are going to implement a route to verify the OTP as verify OTP, and it goes like this. The path is called verify-OTP, and then async rec response, and then try and catch block. So first of all, the user needs to provide the OTP that has been sent to the email. And we're going to destructure it from the rec.body, which is equal to rec.body. Good. The next step is that we are going to check if the OTP has been saved into the session or it has been expired. Therefore, the logic goes like this. If you don't have OTP in the session, as rec.session.otp or rec.session.otp expiry, supposed to be OTP. I think I made some typing mistake. Let me check the login in. This one, the OTP expiry, not this. Think it will be, let me see, send OTP. Yeah, this one, supposed to be this one, OTP expiry. Sorry guys. So this one means that in case you don't have the OTP in the session or the OTP has expired, then you're going to say that res.render, then we're going to pass in the verify OTP template, then object title here is equal to verify OTP and then OTP of system, and then email can be found in the rec.session.email, and then error is equal to OTP session expired. Please try again. Once again, this syntax simply means that in case we don't have the OTP in the session or we don't have the OTP expiry in the session, we're going to say that OTP session expired. Or if the date.now is more than the OTP expiry, we're going to say that OTP has expired. So in here, we're going to take rec.session.OTP expiry. I'm going to copy this, paste, and then in here, we are rendering the verify OTP. The title here is verify OTP, and then the email. And in here, we're going to say that OTP has expired. Please request new one. Good. But below here, in case we have the OTP in the session, we are going to put the user into session as being authenticated. And then we're going to render the dashboard. So in here, it goes like this. If the OTP, I'm going to convert by using parseInt to a number, and then the OTP, if it is equal to the one that has been saved into the session, we know that the user is being logged in with the right OTP. So here as rec.session.otp, then we're going to say that rec.session, we are going to save the user into session as is authenticated, which is equal to true. Then we are going to render the dashboard. So res.render, and then the template is called dashboard. Then pass in additional properties as title, which is equal to dashboard OTP of system. And then the email can be found in the rec.session.email. Else here, I'm going to copy the render. Else here, we're gonna render the verify OTP. The title here is verify OTP, and then the email can be found in the session, and then error is equal to invalid OTP. Please try again. All right, let me check my terminal. Everything is working fine. I'm going to log in and OTP sent, copy the code, and then paste verify, and successful. I have logged in by using this Gmail account. The last step is going to be the logout. So if you check the dashboard template, which is this, we are accessing the data from the backend as email and then successfully logged in. What has left is the logout. So back to the server file or the app, I'm gonna have the route for logout, and it goes like this: app.get, and then the path is called logout, and then rec response. To be able to log out, we are going to remove the user from session, and this one is so easy: rec.session.destroy, and that is it. Lastly, we need to redirect by using res.redirect/login. After logout, navigate the user to the home page or to log in. Alright, so moment of truth. If I reload where my token has expired because I have used it, I'm going to log in one more time to show the logout. Alright, this is my token, and then verify. And indeed, I have logged in, and if I log out, now it worked. Alright guys, so here ends this project. You can extend this by including other features.